Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brine and Blight. This is our Underwater Revolution campaign using Cypher System by Monte Cook Games. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This game is both illustrated and run by TricksyWizard Adam and Trout, as you can see here on the screen. Very lovely people. Very happy to have you here. Just real quick, if you ever want to see any of our previous episodes, you can find them on our YouTube. You can check out that link there in chat for more information. And also shout out to all of our Patreons. Because of our Patreons, everything that we do on this channel is possible. We're going to go around and reintroduce ourselves to you. And please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and who you're playing today. And we will start off with Jay.
Hello, my name is Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice on all the things. And today I am playing Bahari, a manta ray merfolk who is a creative adept who is just partially out of phase and is somehow always partially in trouble.
Thank you, thank you. Next, we have Z.
What's up? I am Z, or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. Today, I am playing Calliope, the Valthuran manufactured android with various jellyfish accoutrements, who is sort of flip-flopping back and forth between allegiance towards Valthor and these weirdos.
Thank you, thank you. Next, we have Kappa Chris.
Hi, my name is Christian, best known on the internet as Kappa, coming at you live with 30% less hair, 100% more swag. I've been working on that for all day.
I'm shaking.
You can find me on Twitter and now Hive at the Kappa Chris for all of the projects that I am involved in. I produce, I perform, I do a bunch of stuff here in the TTRPG space and beyond. I'm playing Risubi, the Technicolor punchy mantis shrimp, the perceptive warrior who needs no weapon.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Stabulina. Welcome to the channel. Please consider giving us a follow. That way you get notifications for when we go live. Today I am playing Berengaria. I am a kind speaker who controls beasts, and I have a broken arm, and I don't really want to talk about it, but it's doing much better now, so it's fine. And we're going to move on to TricksyWizard Trout.
Hi, I'm Trout. My partner Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics. You can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Hive, Mastodon, Tumblr. We're heckin' everywhere. Coming in January, we have Kickstarter launching with Maychan Press for our card game Witchy Cakes. We can't wait for everyone to see that one finally. And today I am playing Bunk, a lizard folk who's a brash sniper who's wanted by the law, and that says a lot of it, but there's so much more to unpack.
Thank you, thank you. And we'll hand it off to our GM, Adam.
Hi there, I'm Adam, and I am going to be running the Cypher System game. Trout already gave the rundown. We're definitely hedging our bets and going on every social media platform available right now, so you can find us at TricksyWizard everywhere. If everybody's ready, I think it's about time we rejoined this gaggle of weirdos down in the deep blue sea.
All right, let's dive in.
Hey! We return to Meribas, the seafloor metropolis and capital of the aquatic kingdom of Sonaspar, to find a city in turmoil, its populace still reeling in the aftermath of an explosion that cut short the grand military parade, which was to mark 50 friendly years of imperial occupation. The response from Valthor's colonial emissaries had been the sort of brutal, reflexive overreaction that frequently characterizes empire. Shocking, perhaps, but not entirely surprising. Within minutes of the makeshift explosion's detonation, the city center was swarming with Valthuran Imperial Marines, and shortly thereafter, with the arrival of the flagship submarine, the HMS Regalicus, there was a small fleet of experimental hammerhead mechs joining the fray as well. All to secure the peace, of course. In the ensuing moments, a small group of extraordinary individuals came together in an attempt to safeguard innocent civilians caught up in the chaos. Bunk, a brazen reptilian sniper. Berengaria, a kind-hearted merfolk schoolmaster. Bahari, a brilliant mantifolk scientist. Calliope, an enigmatic android. And Risubi, a stoic and stout-hearted mantis shrimp. Together, against extreme odds and under overwhelming threat, these 5 risked capture and worse to aid whoever they could while vouchsafing their own escape. Later that night, the 5 reconvened at the Lonely Light, a bar nestled in the sprawling slums of the city's dorsal district in the north, to discuss what had transpired, as well as what must happen next. Bunk made no secret of the fact that they were personally responsible for that bombing, and they faced significant pushback about endangering innocent lives, but in the end, there was no denying it. The Valthuran occupation was already doing irreparable harm to everyone and everything it touched. It had just been harm inflicted on so great a scale, and by such gradual degrees, that it seemed nothing could be done save to ignore it, to push it away, live your life. But Valthor's overreach at the parade made it clear. To do nothing would be to accept it, and that was something that none of them could stomach. And so, in that dimly lit, murky pub, a tenuous accord was reached that night. Now, 3 days on, with tensions nominally subdued, we can see that Valthur has seized all too eagerly upon the opportunities presented by the recent unrest. There was an industrial accident at the Coralite reactor beta, caused in truth by a lack of proper maintenance, but it has been rewritten as a terrorist attack by rogue dissidents. This justifies, of course, a heavier hand, increasingly unrealistic productivity requirements, and tighter security all around. The grand embarrassment at the parade has likewise been used as justification for a persistent Valthuran security presence throughout the city. In fact, by order of the newly appointed Chief of Transit Security, every major station within the Metropolitan Transit System, or CTRAM, has been converted into a military checkpoint to ensure the safety of the citizenry and foster a spirit of mutual trust. All of this has been duly approved by the young crown prince of Sonaspar, Yaradi Lascaris, eager, as he always is, to leave the business of governance to his imperial beneficiaries. But that's all the big picture. To get back down to the business of individual action. Bahari, we join you here at the Lonely Light. This bar has always seemed like the sort of place that it's kind of always been there. It's a fixture of the neighborhood. It's simply somehow, it doesn't have a beginning. It's just kind of been there. And much the same, its proprietor, the surly but charming merfolk Rhoda, has always been the sort of person that everybody just knows and that most people trust and a few people even like. Fitting, then, that she's found a way to stay in your life, turning up like a bad penny, even when it seems that everything else has changed or fallen away. 3 days have passed since the rather tense and portentous conversation took place in this bar. Bahari, how have you busied yourself in the meantime, and what brings you back here this evening in particular?
You're muted.
Last few days have been really nerve-wracking and stressful. It's hard to come to terms with verbalizing the thoughts of everything around us needs to be stopped somehow. And I don't feel right not taking a stand, but to say it out loud, to actually have co-conspirators. My grandma, God rest her soul, would be so upset with me for even thinking about this, but I have to. There's just... So Bahari's been going back and forth with trying to decide what to do and how to go about it and how to help the most people while preserving the most lives. Because on the one hand, we have to do something. But on the other hand, we can't be anywhere near as cavalier about the lives of others as our oppressors are being. And that's what scares me, the thought that if you get too single-minded about destroying everything that's destroying us, who's going to get caught in the crossfire? What kind of innocent people are going to be stomped on while we try to get everything out? I feel like we need to take time and plan and think about this, but it also feels like we don't have a lot of time because everything's moving so quickly.
So, over the course of these days, has Bahari still been returning to effectively her day job, working as a research scientist in a Valthuran funded Coralite research and development program?
Oh, it's too dangerous to even do anything outside of the routine because you feel like everyone is watching you, like you're not safe. If they see someone in a position like mine where you're doing important research suddenly stop going to work, they're gonna do an investigation to figure out why, and we don't want them thinking that there's something to find, because there's nothing to find, because I've been doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing this whole time.
Well, the lab is just the same old hermetically sealed, cubicle-ridden, kind of like flood-lit sort of sanctuary that it has always been, but there have been elevated levels of tension as no one is entirely sure how to adjust to the new normal. This is a fully aquatic lab, so everyone here is, of Sonaspar. And even still, although there have been no notices to this effect, there is the general assumption that everyone needs to watch what they say and how they say it. Everyone seems to be kind of burying their heads in their work, talking more about hitting the metrics, getting the bonus, just going on vacation maybe if they can build up the time. One thing people seem to talk about in hushed tones before dismissing it as maybe not the best topic of conversation, there's rumblings of a potential strike up at the Coralite refinery. Apparently there are voices calling for that. No one wants what that would mean, but apparently the situation there has gotten rather untenable as the fight to get back to 100% efficiency despite the mechanical failure seems to be coming at the cost of the health and well-being of the people working the refinery. Bahari, this night, 3 days later, back at the Lonely Light, has this been a place that you've kind of been returning to on your time off just to kind of like decompress and see Rhoda and just try and like find some normalcy? Well, on this night in particular, someone else is darkening Rhoda's doorstep. Risubi, I think it's a safe assumption to say that your relationship to the city is complicated, yeah?
Yeah, it's strained at best.
I mean, it was enough to juggle when you were just scrapping for knuckles at Vin's place, earning your keep, keeping to yourself. But now, I mean, you've officially traded blows with the Empire's new experimental mechs. You've vandalized and looted a Valthuran military tank. And you aided a lost child, in evading a military checkpoint. So for better or worse, you're involved now. I mean, pieces are moving and everything's getting more complicated by the day.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly, inconspicuous.
Yeah, certainly not. You do tend to stand out. You're a big, bulky boy with all the colors of the rainbow, just kind of arrayed in full raiment across your sort of crustacean carapace. Well, as we see you now, pretty much crouching to fit through the Lonely Light's cramped threshold, take us back for a moment. Let us know, what's kept you busy in the past few days. I mean, after all, it's one thing to state a conviction over a table in secret, and it's another thing to put it into action. So what has Risubi been up to?
Yeah, the events of the uprising, the spark that that we had experienced has me thinking of how I can do better, how I can be better. I did sustain a hefty amount of damage. And so part of my time over the past 3 days has been repairing myself and just making sure I'm rested, making sure that if it comes to blows again, I am at full form, tip-top shape. Outside of that, though, I think I have been observing. I've been going to different locations around Sonaspar and Morabis and all that stuff, and keying into general public opinion of people, you know, your everyday Joes at the sea tram station, or, you know, finding my way into the dry mall and seeing what people are saying, trying to determine how the upper crust views everything.
For the record, the dry mall, as we're calling it here, is there's the massive sort of stone spire that rises up out of the crater in the very center of the crater where Meribas is built, and that has been hollowed out and turned into, for the most part, sort of like pressurized, you know, oxygenated spaces for land dwellers to move about. A lot of administrative and business functions are run out of this sort of central spire, which also serves as a conduit for this refined coralite energy to be just funneled up out of the sea and up to the massive administrative complex that sits floating up at the ocean's surface. Now that's interesting. For this, I'm going to say this is going to be just a general, broad intellect task, and we're going to say difficulty 3.
Difficulty 3, okay.
Let's just kind of use this to cast a wide net to figure out, like, how successful are you at just trying to glean public opinion.
Great. I have skills in eye for detail and general knowledge that I'd like to apply to this. Do both of those count, or just one or subset of those two things?
I would say definitely just sort of like the general knowledge skill is applicable here. Since you're more interested in trying to kind of like overhear conversations in a broad sense, and it's not like a directly focused sort of like you need, I would say eye for detail wouldn't necessarily apply here. So go ahead and knock that down to a difficulty 2.
Great. Okay. And I'll just have this be that roll. I'm not going to apply any effort to this. Success.
And that is a success on the roll.
8.
Okay.
Yep. Roll
Yes, 8 beats the target number of 6. So you pick up on a number of things over the sort of 2-3 days here. First and foremost, over those days, it becomes increasingly difficult for you to just kind of freely move in and out of, and kind of, you know, just loiter around the different metro stations that the C-Tram runs through around the city, as there is now an increasing sort of like level of tension there, as there's a permanent installation of at least like a small squadron of Valthuran Marines that just kind of, they're there more as in a kind of, you would assume, an intimidation tactic than anything, kind of like, okay, move along. You know, they're making sure nobody is hanging around. It's very much a just, you know, shouting slogans at people. You see something, say something. And it's difficult for you to kind of, but I will say, you notice a couple of things. Nobody moving about, you know, through the alleyways of downtown, or making the commute from the dorsal district, or kind of going to their, you know, office jobs over in Maxilla. Any conversations you overhear about what's been going on, nobody really buys the Imperial line that this is some kind of coordinated effort by outside agitators to disrupt the peace. Everybody knew something like this was brewing, but nobody knew it would take this form. Nobody could have predicted that the slightest act of defiance with 0 casualties and no real property, a symbolic gesture, would lead to that much of a reprisal, the hammer coming down that hard. And everyone seems really kind of nervous about that. And you do notice one other thing on a success. Several, looks like hand-posted bills, like wanted posters that look like they were like photocopied on like laminated paper and like posted up by hand, that have a sort of grainy rendering of like bad surveillance footage of a reptilian silhouette wearing a wide-brimmed hat, and it looks like one of the rounded shoulder pauldrons of a certain mantis shrimp in the corner. You would be able to tell, no one can identify you from this grain, but you know that that's surveillance footage that seems to have captured at least Bunk and like your upper left eighth of your like shoulder.
Yeah.
Tinkering with that tank. It's not, I mean, it's so grainy that it's not like anything that you would have to worry about. It's not like a fully rendered image of here's Bunk, look for them, but it's enough to kind of maybe set you on edge a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So with this kind of being the general consensus over the past couple of days, Risuvi, you enter here and you can find that Bahari, how does he find you? I would assume at this point it's kind of getting close to end of night. Rhoda has been kind of encouraging the five of you when and how you can to come in as she's kind of like closing down. She's been closing earlier and trying to give you just a place to kind of decompress given what's happened. So it's just the two of you and then Rhoda in the back as you enter Risuvi. And Bahari, how does he find you?
Bahari is kind of like huddled over the last, the food that the bar has up at the end of the night that's going to get thrown out anyway. So you're just eating way too much of it. So just kind of a bowl full of like stale cuckoos and just comfort eating.
And you and Rhoda have an accord where like conversation drifted off like 20 minutes ago. And it's just been like this, you're comfortable in silence together as she's just kind of going about the business of closing up shop.
Hi. Awkward wave with mouthful of food.
I wave and good evening. As you're at the bar, I will take the bar seat next to you and just settle in, not say a word, not even look at you, just straight ahead.
Wait, how are you sitting on the bar seat?
Yeah, my question.
Yeah, it is a little awkward, but the tail swishes forward, and so the shrimp looks more like an S than it does a J. Does it make sense?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept this.
And
Rhoda both
hammer arms just are placed gently onto the bar top. Yeah, it's just dunk.
Rhoda just kind of silently waves you in, and as you take your soothing, can I get you anything, honey?
Good evening, Rhoda. Thank you. I am good.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Listen, you two. I gotta go check on something in the back. You just holler if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
Okay, come on, it's gonna be all right. And she just kind of swims back past this sort of very feebly chained off section with a sort of like out of order sign on what you assumed had been like maybe a restroom door when this bar, which is just a converted shipwreck, may have been seaworthy. And she just slides through the door and is out. It's just the two of you here. Is there a silence here, or is I
think there's a little bit of a silence, just a little bit too long of a moment for it to not be awkward. And I think it's like mostly crunching right now. And then I'll just tilt my head. You are stress eating.
Yes.
You can stop.
Okay. Awkward swallow. It's just kind of hard to pretend like everything is fine so that no one suspects anything. And sometimes people get you in these conversations. I don't know if this happens to you because you have like an aura that doesn't really invite people to like expect you to feel a way, Like we're supposed to be grateful for what's happening. Because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have this job. And I'm like, no, maybe I'd be working somewhere else and making a difference faster.
You
How
are
was
also
your day?
also troubling. Everyone is uneasy over the past 3 days' occurrences. Many people are stress eating.
That
I turn my attention more in your direction. Still not like head on, but one, because it's hard. The bar is
yeah.
yeah.
It's a little tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone of your stature.
Bahari, you especially, it is understandable that you are feeling such stress being so close to the belly of the beast.
I feel like everyone there is kind of pushing to find something that's going to please our Lord and Masters. It's going to make things better for them, but like it's not going to make things any better for us. And my boss really believes that if we can find a way to make their machines more efficient, they'll leave sooner. Like, I don't know how he can have this job and think that they're going to leave before they've sucked every single soul out of this place dry. Like, they're not going to be satisfied until there's nothing left. I don't know what kind of future the people that willingly do this see, because I don't see it. I don't see any way we survive this without changing something.
Perhaps a fair bit of reality will allow them to see what is happening. Have you shown them your findings?
I'm scared, because what if they take what I found and they bury it, they bury me because they don't want me to tell anyone else? Like, what if they already know what I know, and them finding out about like that I know this, they ask me, have you told anyone else? Like, I've played it through in my mind, and I'm so scared that if I confide in anybody besides our group of people, that you'll never see me again, and they're just going to keep going. I want to believe that I can trust someone there, but it's too risky.
Would you be able to live with yourself if you did not try?
That's the question I keep asking myself. Maybe I can send something anonymously, but no, they would figure it out. They're not geniuses, but they're not entirely incapable of being able to understand what happens at our job. So I think the best thing to do is to keep talking about ways that we can disrupt what's happening. But I don't think telling someone who is literally in the pocket of Valthurans is going to save us. And I know that from a different point of view, someone who doesn't know me would look at me and say, well, you're in their pocket. You work there too. You're actively contributing to everything. And I hate that I feel that way, because I've never done more than I had to do to keep my job. But that doesn't mean that I have done enough to keep people safe. And I think that's the balance I'm trying to find, to try to keep being in a place where I can help others without giving so much of myself and so much of what we're doing to the enemy that they destroy us.
I understand. I struggle with this as well. Helping others when violence is so readily available to the table. Bahari, and I will turn fully. One of the arms comes off, but one of the arms is still on the table.
Yeah, like there's like a scraping of the kind of slightly rusty bar stool.
Yeah. If it is your safety, please know that you have my support. Diplomatic or otherwise. And I will turn very awkwardly back to neutral position. You may continue eating.
And as we kind of pull away from this scene and kind of like fade out through the walls of the lonely light, there's a little, I think, this sort of moment of mutual support, this moment of comfort, this moment of tentative, resolve. I want each of you to take a subtle cipher. For Risubi, you can go ahead and take note of this. You have at your disposal one burst of mechanical acumen. This will provide you with an additional asset for any one task that makes use of any kind of mechanics or tools, even if that means exceeding the normal limit of 2 assets.
Okay. Thank you.
And Bahari, I'm going to give you one, and this is what I love about subtle ciphers. These are not like items; these are just things you can make use of as like a narrativise this effect. You get 1 hindrance repellent when you activate this, and I'll send you this with the text details too. When you activate this, which can happen at any time, roll a d6 plus 1. And then any NPC within your immediate range who is of a lower level than what you roll decides to leave for whatever reason you narratively choose, using their next 5 rounds to move away as quickly as possible. You can just make someone not be there anymore peacefully, but it's up to you to determine how that happens.
Instead of a far step, it's a far yeet.
Yeah,
I love it.
You could literally just make it, this is an extremely awkward interaction and this person decides they don't want to be in this conversation anymore. It's like, it could be that. Like, it's up to you to determine how that works. And again, it's a d6 plus 1 when you activate.
We're going to have to be a guard who went to the undersea dry mall Taco Bell and suddenly it hit him. He got to go. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. So moving on, though, we return now to the expansive, artificially sunlit campus of the Academy of Schoolmasters, the institution, the great and aged institution by which these sort of almost like a mixture of sort of like druidic nature tending and a sort of like scientific ecology sort of natural resource management association. We're going to return to your domain, Berengaria. Now, Berengaria, your sudden and, thanks to Bahari's intervention, quite literal disappearance from the mezzanine at the parade grounds 3 days ago caused quite a stir at the Academy. Concerns over your whereabouts and your well-being, they reached a fever pitch as soon as your erstwhile scribe Euphrosyne learned that you didn't return along with Dean Anastas Coy and his Valthuran Marine escorts. Euphrosyne's never been anything approaching calm, but her demeanor upon your very late return to the campus was nothing short of a meltdown. And it's taken nearly the full 3 days since for her to regain enough of her composure to resume her normal pestering you about your schedule.
I have made sure to make time to gather some fried kelp snacks. They're a little on the soggy side, but I know they're Euphrosyne's favorite, and I've hoped that perhaps these little treats might help calm her nerves.
I want you to know that you must attribute part of Euphrosyne's return to her normal, merely skittish self over the past couple of days to the wonderful gift that you've supplied her with. She thanked you curtly and then went right back to, I just couldn't believe you didn't tell me. And I just don't. And she, but now, like, from that point on, it's just, and anyway, I guess we should probably, I cleared your week.
Do you want to hug it out?
No.
No, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And I give her a big hug and, okay, tell me the schedule, yeah.
She like she flutters her little goldfish fins up to me, and she's like 2 feet tall. and has like the big sort of like spherical bulbous goldfish eyes on the sides of her face, and is just very distraught. But as she kind of, she accepts the embrace, and as she kind of flutters back to her, respectful distance. Hey, so I cleared your schedule for the week.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, we do have several. We are gravely behind. So
Okay.
if you felt like it, I could pencil in some of the appointments that we have. We have several patients from the Painted Reef who are coming in. We have worries about some, it's standard. We just have, there's concerns about the spread of minor diseases amongst the shark populations, and some of the anemones are apparently getting a little withered. And this is so not important. I'm just so happy you're back.
Oh, well, I'm so glad to be back too. It was quite frightening, but enough of that. We can have some of these overlap. If you look at these items here on the schedule, we can do them at the same time. To catch up.
I suppose. Multitasking. Okay, yes, of course. We can't collapse meetings, but I suppose we could. I could try and shuffle some of the. Yes, okay. I'll get to work, and we will reconvene with this in the morning. I thank you so much for bearing with this today, Marigaria.
Of course. Thank you for all your trouble. And in case no one told you today, your eyelashes look spectacular.
Why what we have is so important to me. And she swims off as she continues, just kind of like mutter. Well, it's been a real year of a day. So, I mean, the life of the schoolmaster has been maybe kind of what's yeah.
There's a dramatic scene where Berengaria just like floats back onto this like really plush open clam shell. It's just like, oh heavens, that was so much.
You're fainting clam.
Yeah.
Well, have you over the past 3 days been able to slip away and get back to Rhoda's place ever since that fateful conversation that you had with your newfound companions?
I don't think so. My duties here at the academy are very important, and I know that there aren't very many people like me that can move between different spheres. I've always had a knack for talking to people and appealing to their good nature, and that has certainly helped, at least over the last few years, with finding diplomacy with hard policies and trying to gather resources when they're scarce. Unfortunately, with all of the boom of technology and the way of industry, the way it's been going, sometimes people forget about the animals that live here.
Honestly, what Euphrosyne was telling you about what she characterized as minor concerns, probably below the notice of the wider academy, but a lot of them seem to have been stemming more from the Painter's Reef, which is, I mean, it's been considered like a world marvel. It's flush with just raw arcana. It's got the most biodiversity of any of the reefs in all of Sonaspar. It's filled with like technicolor bioluminescence, and it's also the site where ground has recently been broken on the construction of a new coralite extraction and refinery rig by the Valthuran occupation. The Dean has not brought it up with you since your return from your, what everyone had assumed might have been, injuries or kidnappings or worse, but he hasn't really brought it up since. But you can't help noticing what's going unsaid is he hasn't really brought up the fact that you were volunteered by him as a representative to kind of legitimize that industrial project. The fact that he put your name forward. You haven't heard anything since, but it's kind of been an undercurrent there.
There's definitely been a mix of suspicion and fear, especially since of everything that went down. I don't know if I'm going to find him alone. I don't know if the officials have been bothering him, so perhaps I've been burying my head in the sand a little bit with catching up.
Well, actually, as we join you now, as the day's work is wound down to a close and you're readying to depart, it's in these waning moments of the day when the artificial sunlight that is always illuminating the wider campus, it's growing softer and more golden. You receive an unexpected summons, actually from the office of Dean Anastas Coy, delivered in person by his own scribe, a genteel lionfish folk, a young one by the name of Ardalian. I was begging your pardon, Schoolmaster Berengaria, but it appears that there is a visitor at the academy wishing to speak with you.
Oh, a visitor? Oh, as I begin to flush, you can see that my cheeks begin to turn purple. Did they say their name?
I do apologize for the irregularity. I do recognize that this would normally be a task for your own scribe, but the visitor comes under unique circumstances and has requested to speak with you in confidence in the Dean's office, a request which the Honorable Dean Coy has granted. As far as the identity of this visitor, I am afraid I can say nothing further.
All right.
You will have to speak with the visitor yourself if you wish to learn more.
Okay, will the Dean be there as well?
It is my understanding that this guest is in the Dean's office, speaking with him now.
All right, very well. Please lead the way.
And following Ardalian, you make your way back to the Academy's Grand Hall. At the the stately, almost made in the architectural style of surface academia. It does stand nearly deserted at this hour. It houses now only the most diligent and overworked of scribes and physicians' assistants. The usual sort of column of that artificial sunlight that always cascades down through the central sort of like cylindrical shaft of the building is now muted and warm. It's almost like an imitation sunset. You swim all the way up to the sort of penthouse style office here. It's the Dean's office, which you find wide open in contrast to your last visit. And inside, you can clearly see him seated in a sort of clamshell seat at his desk, engaged in what looks like just sort of small talk. His face lights up, though, as you approach, and he quickly sort of beckons you, and he's like, here they are. Now, Berengaria, I'm so pleased that you could find the time, even at such a late hour. Come in.
Oh, yes, of course. As I'm fluttering in, I have my whalebone staff with me and also my clamshell briefcase.
Of course. And as you swim inside, everything clicks unsettlingly into place as you see the identity of this particular visitor. Well, this is a man the Dean was speaking with, clad here now in Valthuran diving suit and a rebreather helmet, is none other than Detective Inspector Damien Belisar. Someone you've had passing dealings with. In fact, the very same man whose hand you fractured in several places with a well-placed strike from your whalebone staff several months ago. For his part, he looks rather well. He wears an affable expression. He has a warm smile framed by this meticulously styled mustache, and his eyes are set firmly on yours. Schoolmaster Berengaria, what a pleasure that our paths should cross again.
Detective, hello.
The Dean was just telling me about the awful ordeal that you went through at the parade grounds. I'm terribly sorry to hear that. I can promise you we're doing everything we can to make it right.
So what is the meaning of this? How can I help?
Well, Dean Anastas, your hospitality is greatly appreciated, but no, I understand. Listen, this guy, Inspector Belisar here, he's a good egg. I can tell he's investigating, and he's requested that he be allowed to interview you about everything that happened. I do hope it's not too much trouble for you.
Oh, well, wouldn't it have been more appropriate to set up a formal meeting and appointment? I am so tired. Oh, look at how tired I am. I've been working for days and struggling. The whales and the dolphins and the crabs and...
This, if you want to try and smooth this over, Detective Belisar is, you can tell he's very astute and he's well trained in these matters. So I'm going to say if you want to try and pass this off as genuine, it's going to be an intellect task level 6.
Okay, just to be totally transparent here, I do have a hindrance. Being kind comes with a few risks, all tasks relating to detecting falsehoods. Okay, never mind. Oh
no, it's you detecting falsehoods.
Yeah,
not necessarily
okay.
Speaking them, yeah.
Yeah. We're good. Okay. Shit. Okay. You said intellect.
Yes, it's an intellect task. This is to kind of try and deceive or smooth over. It's going to be level 6, which means the target number is an 18 on the die, unless you have anything to bring to bear.
I will use effort.
Okay, a level of effort, which will reduce it down to a level 5.
My only other option is my flash grenade.
That is perfectly viable, Stella.
It's not a horrible idea.
Honestly,
No, what?
Amazing idea.
Actually,
Why are you thinking about it?
I am undoing my edge and I'm going to use my flash grenade.
No.
I open up my briefcase, I pull out this Valthuran thing I picked up and I go, choo! And I smash it on the ground and I try to run away.
incredible. Okay, let's you want to go ahead and just read the details of that cipher to me real quick?
Yeah, projects a physical explosive a long distance, 100 feet, bursts with immediate radius, blinds all within for 10 minutes, unable to follow and detect you.
Okay, so you could have fired that from up to a range of 100 feet is what it means, but you
Gotcha.
basically, you just drop it, and in your immediate radius, so basically everyone in this room is, did you say blinded for 10 minutes? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Fantastic. No, that must be it. So yeah, so you sneeze, and I'm gonna say in doing so, you do this false sneeze, your bag flies open, and I'm still gonna ask you to make a level 6 roll, but this is more, this is gonna be speed related. This is to see if you can pass this off as, can you hide the fact that it was you that made this happen?
Gotcha. That makes sense. I will still use edge. That's going to cost me the full 3.
Oh, the effort point. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Difficulty?
This is going to still be difficulty 6 because Detective Belisar is very perceptive in these sort of interpersonal matters.
This
Very good.
is the funniest way to get out of a social situation.
Honestly, yeah.
I'm thrilled.
I revealed. Target number was 15. I rolled a 4.
Okay. The cipher goes off as planned. You keep your eyes averted and shut as you dump this sort of like you pulled pin flash grenade onto the floor, which erupts.
Oh no, I don't know what just happened. Oh, let me go get someone.
The dean was very flustered by this. You definitely can hear just the surprised sort of shouts, the sort of the yelps like wow as this thing goes off in the entire room. If like we could like kind of cut to a shot outside, and just see like the windows just like this flashes of light emitting in just this massive bright beams through all the windows, and you can try and make your escape here. You get you get the specific feeling that Detective Damien Belisar is going to want to have that interview with you more than ever.
Yep.
Where do you go?
I'm going to try to... Damn it. I'm going straight to the Lonely Light.
Okay. You have
Yes.
10 minutes here where you know that you're not going to be detected by anyone who is in that office. And once you're out of the...
Swim,
I mean,
swim,
it's
swim,
it's
swim,
pretty
swim,
late
swim.
hours, so as you're swimming away, it's pretty late in the day. It's like you can tell it's basically, you know, it's mid to late evening at this point, so the campus isn't like crowded. You can basically, as soon as you're out of the main hall, act natural and just kind of swim away.
There's definitely like an energy of as I'm swimming away quickly, I stop by the campus like cafeteria. I pick up a small baggie of fried kelp, and then I continue hurrying away.
As you go, give me a perception related check here. It's going to be intellect. It's going to be difficulty 3, as you want to make sure, you know, are you being followed?
Okay.
As you're kind of leaving the sort of elevated campus and swimming down amongst the sort of crowds in the center of the city as you make your way north.
I will use effort here as well.
Okay.
I have edge in it. Said 3. I succeed. I beat the 6 with my 8.
Fantastic. So on a successful roll here, you know, you keep kind of craning your neck over your shoulder as you swim away. As soon as you've kind of broken sight lines from anyone who would have been at the campus, sort of as you leave through the sort of main thoroughfare back down into the city proper, you don't catch sight of anyone tailing you except for one diminutive silhouette that you keep seeing gaining slowly every time you kind of turn, kind of curve around buildings, or kind of make a turn down an alleyway. Any tension that is building those immediately dispelled as the familiar figure of Frisbee, your personal little animal companion, your pastel ruby red grapefruit shark, just comes just toddling through the water to catch up with you. And
I
I'm
really
gonna just
wish
say,
that I prepared the graphic because this would be so perfect. Oh dear.
the only creature that could have sniffed out your escape was your very own goodest boy. As they kind of swim up, their little tail fin waggling faster and faster as they kind of gain on you, thinking this is very much a game. And as you are reunited with your little companion, we're going to just kind of zoom out a little bit from this alleyway that we find you in, this sort of grim, kind of dank place just behind the facade of the great tide scrapers and the neon lights of the city at night. As we notice just how conspicuous and alone the two of you are, as you begin to make as swift and silent and secret a journey north towards the lonely light as you can muster. Meanwhile, Calliope, you have often been informed by your organic acquaintances that days can either pass in an instant or they can drag on for an eternity, and that paradoxically, somehow, in the worst circumstances, both can be true. Not sure how it's been feeling to you these past 3 days, but we find you now perched on the rooftop of a derelict tide scraper, just another monument to the obsolescence of that which came before Valthuran, moldering away on the fringes of the city's central district. Up here, it's a place whose purpose, whatever it may have been when it was constructed, is long forgotten. Calliope, what have the past few days held for you as this new normal has set in with all of its sacrifices and its inequities? What has brought you here tonight to this place of all places?
I think Calliope only last night got a full charge. They've been running on backup batteries, just like chucking them in their body, and they decided that today they just need a moment to collect themselves and explore the city, probably end up helping a few people, but they spent the last few days just in crisis mode. There's been a lot of accidents and general mayhem and colonial colonial powers doing their thing. So Calliope just needs a breather, just to take it all in and just to think about the forces that are coming into their life again, and for the first time as well, all of a sudden, and where they're going to go now. They're sort of rubbing the little coralite sphere on their chest, just sort of empty gaze out into the void.
Well, Calliope, there is a shadow suddenly cast by a lone flickering floodlight, which is still just kind of like petering out the last of its sort of juice here up on the rooftop from some aborted sort of scaffolding or construction effort. But there's a shadow that passes through the light of that flickering floodlight here, and it betrays the approach of a familiar figure, a certain lizard folk in a distinctive wide-brimmed hat, their breather mask emitting this dim turquoise glow. Now, Bunk, I would ask you what the intervening days since your stunt at the parade grounds have held. What's brought you here to this abandoned place at this late hour, but we both know exactly what's happened as we kind of flash back to for a moment here with the shattering of glass as you dive through with your the sort of propeller spurs on your boots going wild as you make good your escape from. Well, where are you? What were you doing?
I am in the Maxilla district, and as the window shatters open, a hospital gurney that was bolted to a wall has come out the window with me to help break the glass. And I have one very large container, so far sealed unbroken, of medicinal coralite. Coralite can also be used for cosmetics, but it can also be used as a coagulant for Sonaspar. And I have stolen a canister of that from a tide scraper hospital.
So yes, effectively you have medical grade coralite, like a coralite energy cell that you have stolen from a medical institution, and yeah, you have just made good your escape here, and we'll flash back several hours again, back forward here.
Yeah, I'm dressed in a flower delivery courier's outfit. Like, I've got the little hat, but immediately take it off and put on the cowboy hat. And to escape, I'd like to grab the underside of a car and just get dragged away.
Yes, so we will we'll rapid fire run through this sort of flashback and then flashback forward here to you ascending the sort of swimming up the sort of sloped staircase here to the top of this abandoned tide scraper here by night.
And I'll say that what has brought me here tonight is the thing that brings me here every night. I check a very specific office in the Oasis to make sure a familiar face with pink hair makes it safely home.
And Calliope, at this point, you do see Bunk kind of swimming up. The two of you, kind of the only sort of lone souls overlooking the nighttime skyline here of central Marabas. Were you expecting them, Calliope, or is this a surprise for you?
It's a surprise in that they weren't specifically expecting them here, but Calliope thinks cosmically and is just like, of course, Bunk is here right now.
There are no coincidences, yes.
Yeah, I would say Calliope glances over at Bunk and then just keeps looking forward and says, "Come here."
So who told on me, Rhoda?
No.
You mean tell me like a bad penny, I just keep bumping into you, huh?
I guess so. Not just that either. You have a pebble and right here. Can I get that for you?
Oh. Yeah, here, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's actually probably a piece of glass. I'm I am bleeding all over again.
They do have several visible cuts. You're a medical android here. Immediate diagnosis seems to be defenestration.
Yeah. I could heal you if you like.
And here I thought I was doing you a favor, and I float over the medical grade correlite. I don't know how prevalent supplies of this are going to be to folk like us, and you might be needing it in the coming days. So believe it or not, I got that for you.
As they toss it, kind of spirals like a slow motion football toss through the water. And I imagine this does look very much like the canisters of ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
1000%. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As it's floating over, Calliope just stops it mid-water with one finger and looks at it. Do you know, the first time I saw this was in the mirror. Correlite. And I woke up in this body. I don't even know how long it's been now. But it's a strange substance that they have here in Sonaspar. Well, where we're from. Of course, they're using it in all the laboratories and all the manufacturers. I don't understand it. And you know me, Bunk. I understand many things. It makes me feel. It makes me feel. And I'm logical. I'm an android. I have databases. I have protocols. But I've been I think it's this. I think I feel I felt angry at you. And I
Really?
Couldn't you tell? I don't want to be unfair to you, because I know you've had it worse than me.
It ain't a competition, Calliope. But I'm glad you opened the door, because I do have a question for you.
Go on.
That day 5 years ago, when you saw what I did.
Yeah.
Prince Lotta died. And you left.
Yes.
I was wondering if you had any specific regrets about that day. If you wish you'd stopped me, fought me, saved Lotta life. You didn't come with me when I asked you to help me fight, but I wasn't sure why, given your kind heart and the desperation of the struggle you knew I was bound to endure. What do you wish about that day, Calliope?
Maybe this sounds like I'm taking my own responsibility away. All my wishes are cosmic as of late. I wish I could have done anything else. My old body that I was implanted in 5 years ago, and this new one now, which enables me to swim in Sonaspar, both of them disallow me from action, from what you do. If I were to hold a gun, I would die. It would release immediately acid throughout the entire chassis, render me immobile, dysfunctional, turn me into junk.
Even if that gun was the difference between an innocent person's life. I'm just trying to understand. Does that seem right to you, Calliope?
No, But nothing about me is right, Bunk.
I don't think that's entirely true at all, my friend.
Right. I wish that day I could have assured you that what you're doing is correct. That maybe the world was better off without that one life. But I couldn't. And if you were to do it again right in front of me, I don't know if I could now. Because I see someone bleeding, shot through, and I have to help them, even if, and especially if, they are Valthuran.
Can I tell you what I regret about that day? Not a thing. Except that I didn't get to meet Loudacauda's eyes when I did it. And that is an ugly thought and a selfish one, and not at all in the interest of helping folk like you care about. After you and I left each other, I spent 4 years in the company of a desperate rebellion. A lawyer taught me how to hold a gun. An artist taught me how to patch a wound. A teacher taught me how to give last rites. And still I wish Loudacauda knew I'd killed him. I cannot do this without people like you, because it's so easy to make it personal after they turn the salamander and see it into glass.
I saw it, I haven't been here for long. Down in the water. I saw it. Bunk, I hope for you that your impulses, these impulses of fighting and taking down oppressors, the ones that I can never have, I can never hold them in my body, I can never act on these thoughts. I hope that you can make them work for you. I just hate to see you here and then lose you again.
That is a very kind thought for someone wholly undeserving of it. If I could impart the little kindness I have to give, it's already quite an act of rebellion that you wish you could be different. It's a pernicious sort of wish, given the way you were programmed.
I agree. I think
it means that nothing is settled, Calliope.
Right. What is living but fighting against yourself, I guess.
It is the first war I ever learned how to fight and lose repeatedly, but hopefully with folk like you and the others. I just must confess to you that though I think Bahari is probably right, I want to watch the torch get blown out of the sky. And I think our people need to see it, Calliope.
As soon as you say that, both of you, your attention is drawn across the open water, across the tops of the tide scrapers, over towards this wide, domed, suspended edifice attached to the steep slopes of the oasis, the dry mall. There is a flash, a little pop of light, visible even at this great distance, coming from somewhere inside the Academy of Schoolmasters.
What the hell is... I line up my eye and my scope in my little flower delivery outfit.
That's fantastic. With that, each of you can give me an intellect task here, perception. It's going to be difficulty 5 to see if you can pinpoint what's going on.
Does the
But I will
scope
say
help me out at all?
The scope is an asset. It will reduce it to 4.
Yahoo.
I'm just gonna help, basically. So
I'm going to use all my effort to see this too, if that's fine with
Okay.
you, Adam.
With help from Calliope helping you triangulate your aim so that you can get the scope angled just so as quickly as possible, we'll count that as an asset as well, knocking it down to a difficulty 3 and 1 degree of effort.
Mm-hmm. Difficulty
Spending
2.
the intellect points brings it down to difficulty 2. You have to roll a 6 or higher to see what's going on.
Come on, bunk.
I mean, easy nat 20, right?
7.
Whew.
Hey,
Yes.
it'll do.
7.
7, basically
do.
a nat 20.
Big 7. The
Yes.
number of good
Big
eyes.
7. So we zoom into your perspective here, Bunk, as you know, we're through the scope with you. We're watching through the crosshairs. You can see the sort of like fading of that flash in that upper window from one of the larger buildings inside the academy. You're slowly adjusting your scope in just by degrees, by individual degrees, until eventually you can see, slowly at first and then picking up speed, a silhouette of a merfolk just undulating, like swimming at top speed, just down, not the proper exit, not like through the sort of like interior administrative exit that takes you down to like the sea tram level, but just swimming, free swimming away from this suspended campus, just down at this sort of steep angle down towards the city streets. And you get a flash of pink pigment in the hair. It appears
Bells. We gotta go. We gotta run away Berengaria.
She never runs. All right, that's.
I'm never
And-
gonna unlearn that. and we in tandem jump off this building.
And as the two of you pick up pursuit here, I think both of you have benefited somewhat from this moment, from this conversation you've
We
shared.
Decided
Materially,
friendship is
I
more
think.
important.
Mm.
I think Calliope has benefited materially as you can take a curative as your manifest cipher. This is an object you have on you. It is a curative that when you make use of it, I would say right now, actually, go ahead and roll a d6 and then add 2 if you can.
8
Max. Oh, fantastic.
max on that D6.
Calliope, you have been handed a very potent tool here. You're not sure how or which specific facility that Bunk would have had to case and then hit to get their hands on this particular quality, this particular purity and refinement of medical grade coralite, but this will restore 8 points to someone's might pool when used as an action.
Ooh, Nelly.
Wow.
Was there like surveillance in that hospital, Adam? I don't believe I checked.
Well, Trout, that's for the GM intrusion to decide.
Delightful.
We will. Let's bump ahead a little bit here, because I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult, given that you have a bead on her, Bunk, for you and Calliope to. I mean, there's only so many places that Berengaria knows outside of the outside of like their usual haunts.
I think I telegraph exactly where I'm going.
Yeah. The only person who would think to pursue you at this point, I mean, you have a 10-minute head start on, and he's not exactly someone who can keep up in a swimming contest with a merfolk. So,
And Adam,
yeah.
did he drop his coffee?
Oh, no, I'm going to tell you right now. Somehow he had some kind of coffee on him, despite the fact that he was I think it must have been some kind of like. We were going to have to work out the tech of this because he was underwater in a fully sealed diving suit and rebreather helmet. But there had to have been some kind of like caffeine sort of like infusion that he had like a dose of that he could work into like the rebreather system because he's like thoroughly chemically addicted at this point.
The cup is just for appearances. He has the coffee patch on.
It's super glued, right? He
can't put it down.
He has a caffeine-based stim that he can like run through the sort of rebreather system when he needs it.
Amazing. I love him all the more.
Oh, and by the way, I neglected to mention this. You don't receive a manifest cipher or magic item equivalent, Bunk, but I will say, as the adrenaline rush hits you, as you successfully pinpoint Berengaria making good her escape, go ahead and just take in your back pocket here a burst of speed.
Oh, that's deadly. Thank you.
When you use this for 1 minute, you can normally move up to a short distance as an action. If you use this, you can use it to go a long distance in a single round instead. So you can go, instead of between 30 and 50 feet, you can go up to 100 feet in like a single round of combat if necessary. So
cool.
Keep that for future use. Well, everyone, gotta tell you, Marabas, it always sits in shadow as it sits under the auspices of the floating colonial administrative sort of palace overhead. But every time night settles in, I think it proves just how dark the seafloor city can get. So the streets have all taken on a different character as they're starkly lit by nothing but the buzzing fluorescent glow of Technicolor and neon signs. But we're going to follow, in these dark hours, we're going to follow Berengaria and Calliope and Bunk out to the dorsal district, where there's practically nothing but the plumes of exhaust from the Correlate refinery to see by. Well, then again, there's always the Lonely Light, named, of course, very aptly because Rhoda never does douse that harsh yellow lantern that hangs over her establishment's front door. It may have all the charm of a bug zapper, but at least it's a constant, something you can rely on, that little point of light amid the dark sprawl. So, we see Rhoda cast in that same harsh, sickly light as she swims up to that door, and with considerable effort, tries to swing it shut to lock up for the night, making ready to kind of twist the heavy, kind of rusty wheel of the door. But just before she's able to swing it shut for the evening, Berengaria, you, along with your trusty little shark dog companion, in what state does she see you as the two of you come kind of barreling up towards her establishment here?
Oh, I'm panicking. I'm sure that I could have stopped fleeing a while ago, but I have just been terrified out of my wits' end. You
can hear the hounds nipping at your tail fin. Yeah.
Oh, Rhoda! I come rushing forward. My arms are full. I've got a shark puppy. I've got snacks. I've got my briefcase. I've got my staff. Oh, Rhoda.
Yeah. No. You basically you swim clear up, and she has to kind of sidle out of the way to allow you passage as you just kind of careen in. Holy hell, kid! Oh my god!
Evening, Rhoda.
And sauntering up behind, Bunk and Calliope at a much gentler pace, having taken a more efficient route by far.
Traced Berengaria's steps from behind to make sure she wasn't followed.
Oh, that's great. Go ahead and give me I'm going to say intellect task difficulty 4 reduced already. I'm going to give you an automatic asset because of your Overwatch ability.
Thank you.
Oh,
so it's difficulty 3.
Did I leave a snack trail behind?
Oh, no.
Candy trail.
Literal breadcrumbs?
You're such a Disney princess. Oh my gosh.
That's a 14 for a success.
14. So you have kept, both eyes open, like chameleon style, almost like in different directions, trying.
That's a different lizard, Adam.
I know, but you are very perceptive, and that was a metaphor. So I'm gonna say on a success here, you feel relatively confident that Berengaria was careening headlong through the streets in a way that was very conspicuous and probably was seen by several people who have no idea what's going on. Probably several dozen people would have seen them just kind of like barreling through the city and trying to very, very poorly to keep her cool. But you saw no signs of pursuit. Probably a lot of confused glances over shoulders and like, who is that? But yeah, otherwise you feel pretty confident.
Yes, all my snacks are intact.
With that, we actually have all 5 of you assembled here again at the Lonely Light. And, you know, I'm going to say Risuvishi definitely Rhoda does actually request your help getting the door shut and locked tight because she doesn't trust her own strength.
Yeah. Silently, I do it and agree. Yeah.
Ryby's gonna go right to Berengar and be like, B, are you alright? We saw an explosion. Did somebody throw something at you? Was there
Oh no, I
an
did
accident
the throwing. I might have even committed a crime. I might have assaulted an officer.
Awesome.
Again, yes.
Again?
Same one?
Yes. The one with the hair and the coffee.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of bad pennies, we better get you inside. Did he call you out? Did he seek you out? Was this a random encounter? What happened?
Oh, he knew exactly where I was. He came to the Academy of Schoolmasters and had me stand there in front of the dean. He wanted to interview me, and I panicked. I simply couldn't. You know, I have trouble lying and withholding information and trying to.
I would be the most hypocritical person to scold you for an explosive entrance or exit. And also, that guy's the worst. But
What guy?
I broke his hand.
Detective Damien Belisar.
This is a lot, and I need this door shut before we talk about anything further incriminating. So,
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Honey, Risubi, could you help me? I just want to make sure I got it, like, good, you know?
I'll ding ding and just tap on the door.
Yeah, you even kind of
signifying that it's super shut.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we're as secure as we're going to get, so, all right, I mean, I know we're going to jump into it, but I guess I hereby call this meeting of the Lonely Light Society the Order, or, you know, whatever. You call it what you want. I just
really don't have to do it. We talked about it. You don't have to give it like a call to order.
You call it what you want. I mean, you got to have some kind of name. Listen, you know what? I'm going to stay to myself. I'm going to keep to myself. I just tend bar. Okay.
And so the 5 of you now are gathered inside this oddly cozy sanctuary. The pleasant hum of aging fluorescent lights, the only ambient sound. The city outside may as well be miles away now. And in the center of this mess hall turned tavern, find all of you gathered around the bar, cleared of all its usual debris. All of the seats still only somewhat loosely bolted to the floor. Rhoda continues looking visibly uncomfortable with this, but then again, for all her misgivings, she still volunteered this space to you time and time again.
Listen, before you talk about anything else that I technically am not hearing, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but, you know, it's not too late to just we could just make this like a social club, you know, we could just be friends getting together and tossing back some Lily. The crime part is entirely optional.
I don't know if I consider freedom and liberation a crime, really.
Here.
Well, we all know what we're here for. And we'll get right back to it after a brief break.
All right, everyone. Please join us in doing a 5-minute break. We're going to go get some water, do some stretches, and we will BRB. Back. And we are back. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Adam, please take it away.
Absolutely. When we last left our particular sort of half dozen would-be revolutionary heroes, counting Rhoda, They had all assembled in various states of calm and or panic at the Lonely Light, the sort of local fixture, the bar that basically the cheers of the North Dorsal District slums. All 5 of you have gathered here now. Rhoda has gotten exactly what she asked for, whether she wants it or not. All of the people who helped save her and people important to her during the sort of crisis that took place in the parade grounds in downtown Maribas 3 days ago. And now as the night wanes on and the hour grows very late, you're all gathered here, the only people in the inside of this establishment, the doors, practically welded shut for how tight that door has been closed. And for the moment, I think every one of you, even you, Berengaria, kind of feel a sense of security, knowing that like the rest of the city may as well have fallen just out of reality for how quiet and secluded you all feel at this moment. Rhoda, however, still seems kind of antsy as she's like,
Can anybody want drinks? Does anyone want anything? I can steal some pods. We could. Yes, good. Get drinks. Yes. Lily. Yes.
Yes. 2, 3. Yes.
None for Frisbee though.
Oh my goodness! Look at them. Look at that little guy.
And she's gonna swim over the bar. She vaults over the bar and swims over to where you're all assembled. And can you describe Frisbee for us here?
Yes,
Stella?
I can. Hold on, I have to pull up his sweet little image. Shit, I should have prepared that during the break. Hold on, I can just do it now, cause.
Oh, wonderful.
So Frisbee is a baby shark. Frisbee is about the size of a medium dog, maybe like a golden retriever size currently. And there is a roundness to Frisbee. You see that he has these very large blue eyes, and he has this sort of grapefruit strawberry pink coloration with this lightning bolt of this soft yellow color stripe just like rippling through him, and he's got tinges of purple and blue. He is very coral colored, and he has a very toothy smile. You can see that some of his teeth are still growing in, still very baby. And Frisbee is currently devouring the snacks that I have brought.
just going to town on the entire, tearing the bag apart too.
Mm-hmm. The bag is part of it.
It's enrichment.
Knowing Frisbee well, Calliope is just absent-mindedly giving him scritches.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. And a little rubbery hide, just doing a little scratches behind the dorsal fin. Yeah, mm-hmm.
In order to give our dear friend Berengaria time to catch their breath and not to put them horribly on the spot right away, Rasubi, Bahari, any trouble this week? Y'all okay? I haven't seen you around.
Just been trying to keep my head down at work and, keep up the facade of working hard to give them what they want.
Get along to get along.
Exactly.
Bahari, sorry.
Everyone is scared. Everyone is on edge. You and I have made appearances on some wanted posters.
Oh, again? How'd it look?
Rainy.
Ah, damn it. Should I pose for it at this point? Like, you think I get one decent photo? Anyway.
You make light of this situation. It is going to draw unwanted attention, Bunk.
Especially, I don't want you making light of this right now, Bunk, because if you bring any of this fire down on my bar.
Well, then maybe stop trying to name our group after your bar, Rhoda.
I posited a name.
Apologies, Rasubi. Sometimes all you can do is laugh. And I suppose I figured if I brought the heat down on myself, maybe they wouldn't look so closely at those who are helping.
Oh, Berengaria, honey, I'm so sorry. You looked like you were having just the worst night. And you said that you were accosted by some kind of policeman?
Well, accosted is a word, but I was brought into the office of the dean, which is kind of a way of being accosted sometimes. So there I was ambushed by the detective, which I broke his hand, and we might
Wait,
have...
now you broke his hand today?
No. Well, if he fell on it again, then maybe yes, but... I think he was going to ask me about the ceremony, the parade.
Oh.
That makes sense. You were a witness.
Yes.
And he knows you, Barry. He knows you real well.
He does. He seems to have decided to come to Marabas now.
Oh dear.
I'm
So-
not trying to be insensitive here, but just for the safety of myself and all of us gathered, he didn't see where you were going, did he?
Rhoda.
Oh, I don't think that he's going to be able to see anything for a little while, but...
Just looking up for number one bunk.
I traced her steps. She wasn't followed.
Oh,
Just to be
Good.
safe.
I'm glad you did. Well,
This worries me. Given the powder keg we have launched into the city, this could be the next spark.
I think you're probably right. Though I would rather the next spark be more fully on our terms than a rogue. What did you do, Berengaria? A bomb?
no, not a bomb. It was... Bahari, do you remember? There was some strange contraption that fell on the balcony, and I had gathered it together. It was some sort of Valthuran device. I didn't know
Yes,
if it
the
would
officers were
help.
carrying them on their hips. It wasn't incendiary in nature. I think it had some kind of release that just throws
Flashbang.
light.
Mhm.
Oh my god, you dropped a flashbang on her. Okay, never mind. She's my favorite now, bunk. I'm sorry.
That's
Do
pretty
you-
baller.
If you need a safe place for now, Berengaria, we can flood my room downstairs. You can have that. I can find somewhere else.
Oh, I don't think I can go back to the academy for some time. Oh, Euphresini! Oh, Euphresini is going to have to do the schedule again.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was here worried
no.
that you were going to worry about being brought in for questioning, but I guess there are fates worse
Oh.
than that.
that does sound terrible.
Does she know
True.
anything?
Euphresini, no. I would never.
Then she's got nothing to worry about. It's all right.
Think
You
it's good
don't
that we're
know
keeping it tight to
Euphresini.
this circle.
Euphresini worries about everything.
Mhm.
Rasubi, getting back to what you were saying about the next lit match, not that that does much good down here, but I understood what you meant. My understanding is there's quite a bit of a to-do going on at Reactor Beta right now. Have y'all been hearing about that?
Mhm.
Yeah. There's that regular Howl, he's got the tusks. Yeah, no, he's good. He's good people, but
Yeah, Blabbermouth, though, you can't shut him up.
well, yeah, you gotta watch what you tell him. But I mean, the leaky faucet goes both ways. He told me everything, and it seems like, I mean, they're talking about they're talking about walking out. They're talking about setting up the picket line, and I don't know. Everybody else here is on edge because we saw what happened downtown, and we don't want that coming home.
And you all were right that all of our action cannot be explosions and destruction. I would propose that we revisit the plan with the radio tower again. If there's a burgeoning strike on the edge of a cliff, maybe all they need is a little bit of encouragement from a place of authority. We could do that. We could at least tell them that there are people in Marabas that are with them and encourage them.
You want them to go through with it? What if they bring? You see the size of that submarine? Did you see those walking Goliath things
If
with the
I'm-
guns?
When I was stationed with the Valthuran infantry, as they fought against the Salamandrian kingdom, the troops had this saying, soldiers win battles, but rags win wars. The RS-23 core light repeater, it jammed if you didn't clean it every single day with rags. Take away those rags and they would have lost the war. Coralite. even more powerful. This strike could change everything. Especially if it encourages more. You're right, Bunk. Hate to say it.
You'll get through it. Keep going.
We need to encourage this. We need to support this. And
Hari, kid, are you hearing this?
I'm hearing it, and I think that we should support people who understand that their labor is being used to tear down everything they love, and they want to stop it. They're being mistreated for the absolute worst cause. But what's more important than supporting them is, okay, if we give them the voice they want to hear, if we make that message as loud as we can and they walk out, and the lack of maintenance causes catastrophic damage to this tower, what's our next step? How are we going to ride this chain of explosions all the way to the top and stop this forever? Like how? What? We need to know what the next step is before we take the first one. Otherwise, we're just going to fall.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed with that. And if we know the next step, we can use that. We could even communicate in whatever broadcast we choose, not only words of encouragement from all of us and information about what you've told us is happening to the reef, Bahari, but we could also perhaps communicate what our next move is over the radio and then do something else. If you catch my meaning. Communicate direct action, something obvious, something bait for Valthuran to swallow.
Oh, maybe this might be of some help.
Was that horribly insensitive to say bait? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I don't think so.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to make a
Do you
fish joke.
think land dwellers came up with the idea of baiting something?
fish here.
Apologies. I'm from the desert. I don't know much about much.
I understand. Anyway, Berengaria?
Yes. So I came across a number of alarming reports. There have been a flood, so to speak, of injured creatures and various doings that have been coming out of the Painted Reef. I don't know if I'm recalling this correctly, Bonk, but I think we were on a train that was heading towards the Painted Reef when we first met.
What have you been hearing? Come out of the reef
Is
now.
that correct, GM?
That is
Yeah,
correct,
it
actually.
is.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When you and Bunk first met, you were actually on the Sea-Tram Express line from Marabas to Painter's Reef on a diplomatic and ecological venture. It was to a conference to work with other schoolmasters. And that was the train that, that's where you met Bunk, and that's where Bunk executed that particular operation that led to certain unknown amounts or undisclosed amounts of destruction and collateral damage.
I look Bunk straight in the eyes. I think they sent another train that way. And I think this is the ripples of consequence from that.
It stands to reason that they're drilling in the Painter's Reef too. And it's what you said is happening, Bahari. They're poisoning another one.
So if we have two different inputs of poison, this is going to cause an exponential increase in the speed of decay. The data is worse than I thought. We don't even have as much time as I thought.
We do if we can disrupt their operations in Marabas.
If
Food-
I may make an observation. If the labor strikes are happening anyway, and we wish to push that along, the reaction will be swift. We want to cause a misstep on their part. Maybe, just maybe, we disrupt weapons depot.
Are you talking outside?
When they find that their supply to Coralite is cut off, they will reach for the next nearest means of force to deal with the strikes.
So you're saying, that's right, the refineries don't work, then the constant drip feed of power up to their big damn old umbrella.
It will cause a panic, and those in power will be forced into the light, and we will find our next target from there.
What about everybody down here? What about the people who work the refinery? Those are my friends. They got families.
If we remove their weapons, their hammer, their swords.
Little Marionette is who you're talking about facing down.
Who the hell's that?
You may have seen him at the parade. All in black, a pink bident. He is a monster. And he leads their forces when they want to show force.
So you lure him out and what?
Kill him. I'd relish the opportunity.
Okay, sure, big hero shit, but big picture here. I'm all about trying to make them trip up and show a weakness and sure, score a blow for the little guy, but you still haven't convinced me that good people aren't going to be put at risk. People are going to get thrown in prison or worse.
We're not trying to, Rhoda, we're not trying to convince you it won't happen. We're not dealing with folk that can be reasoned with. They will overreact. They will throw people in prison. It is the only reaction they know how to make. If you are proposing do nothing, I'm afraid you've lost the argument, my friend.
I'm not saying do nothing. I'm not saying that.
Well, if something as small as blowing up a statue would provoke a military occupation, then I don't need to lead you very far to realize what they'll do if we do anything to disrupt the Coralite refinery.
Oh no, do you think they're going to take the flashbang in that regard? Do you think they're going to take that as a sign of aggression?
I don't think anyone could take anything from you as a sign of aggression, honey.
Flashbang is
A grenade might.
But I think they might think that someone of your stature might be being controlled or misled or, possibly kidnapped, maybe. But I don't think they would see that as the sign.
You can tell them I coerced you if you want, Berengaria. The detective already knows we've worked together, and I've made it sort of clear that he might have thought that I was coercing you.
Well, hold on. He's really going to want to get that interview now, but now that we know it's coming, we can prepare just in case he ever corners you again. You can know what to say, right?
Yes, if you have ideas. I was hoping that maybe I don't have to have an interview with him.
I'd rather you did not.
I could just stay here.
Hey, that's not a half bad idea. And the little guy can stay with us too, right? His name Frisbee?
Yes, Frisbee. He's very good at eating garbage.
As far as we know so far, Bahari doesn't have any...
good at having garbage. That's fantastic.
Bahari, you don't have any suspicion on you at this time.
No, I've been able to continue going to work as normal, and I haven't changed anything that I'm doing. I'm just doing my job, my same experiments on the side that don't seem to be getting any attention, and taking note of any changes at work. But I just, they're already putting people in jail without trials. It's not something that's going to happen because of what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If people refuse to work, they'll jail people and force them to work. It's inevitable, Rhoda. It's just a matter of when we push them. And if we can push them into overreaction, we can at least show folks how unjust the system is, and maybe more people will join us. We need numbers here.
Calliope?
Calliope says, how do we know the Lonely Light is the only building in the whole Lebanon Sea where people are having this conversation?
We don't. A university is a great place to start. Usually students are similarly minded.
And why destroy weapons and we could regift them?
Arm the people.
Take
Arm
away their
people
claws and
anonymously.
teeth.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I just thought about handing like a high-powered Coralite rifle to Howl, and maybe he works. He can run support, but
Not Howl, but we give weapons to people, they become immediate targets, right? They go up in the chain. What if there are people besides us in this room that are already targets? What if there are people willing to go the extra mile, willing to get shot at for the sake of this, what we are talking about now? And what if most of them are all in the same building?
what building are you talking about, kid?
You know,
Prison.
of course.
Every
I know
empire
of-
needs a prison.
I know of one very specific sympathetic party that was well and truly locked up about 5 years ago that would be helpful.
Mhm.
I've broken into the prison in Repelia once already, last week. It's not terribly difficult.
This is why I don't ask about where you go when we're not. How am I just hearing about the prison break-in now?
I'm sorry, I was at my quota for being yelled at, Rhoda.
Yeah. Oh, really? Because I could go for miles more if you want.
Oh, please, don't do me any favors.
So what, we're talking about like a coordinated prison break and pirate radio broadcast?
And
I
an
think-
interview.
Or not, if you don't want to. We can keep you away from Damien Belisar.
And he's just gonna come sniffing around, so we'll figure out what to say if he thinks he knows you're here.
Maybe I'll be backup.
You could be backup.
I would say we don't all need to go to the radio tower. But I do think it's important that we're all a part of this. It shouldn't just be one voice. It should be many disparate voices, telling everybody the many reasons why we need to do this. So if we could record something together, some of us could go to the radio tower. Some of us could, if you want to do this in tandem, break a lot of people out of jail, or we could save that for after the radio signal. But I do think a prison break is a mighty fine idea.
Give him multiple targets. That means fewer of my friends at the picket line are gonna hit the hammer on him.
Where are we
Indeed.
gonna help these people settle once they get out of the prison? I think that I want to know what the next step is. Like, we need a location for them to be able to be where they won't be tracked, where they can be safe.
Yeah, not a lot of room in one bar.
Gotta
Well,
work on that.
there is an off-site, so to speak, stabling facility that
Oh,
the schoolmasters use sometimes. It's generally used for larger marine life and also those that might not be appropriate to go into the thick of the city. Generally predators, and Berengaria kind of looks over at Frisbee for a moment. Somewhere that Valthuran troops might not want to go.
And then maybe slowly over time help them get out of the city. Might be the safest thing with their families.
There are plenty of hiding spaces. Believe me, I know.
Really? You gonna enlighten us, or you're just gonna be all cool about it?
I will be cool.
Yeah, you will.
Why does everyone get positive reinforcement except me?
You know damn well why, Bunk.
Bunk, your tongue is blue. That is very cool.
I like your hat.
I was not looking for this. I hate this.
you weren't
You are
fishing for
a-
compliments.
You are a wonderful junk master and know how to make a deal.
Bunk, you're very good at explosions.
Okay, I'll take that one. Thank you very much.
Hey, if you're still running that glorified pawn shop out in the junkyard, that's one way to distribute anything that we might
That's a great idea.
repurpose.
If we did go through the song and dance of stealing weapons, which I'm in agreement. That is a good thing to help arm the people that we are asking to make themselves very vulnerable. I do have a decent operation to trade in contraband.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. I mean, that's like 5 different plans.
The
What are we
question
gonna
is, which is the real plan and which is the decoy? I think that's the smartest move here. Which is more important to us now?
I think the people wrongly imprisoned.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree.
Same.
So we should broadcast that we intend to hit a weapons cache.
Yes.
So ready
All
tower
right.
first.
And we
So
won't
wait,
even be
wait.
lying because we're gonna say to them that we're taking their biggest weapons that they don't even deserve. And
Oh,
that is
beautiful.
our people.
Poetry, Bahari. Pure poetry.
I like you.
I like you too.
She's a good kid. All right. So you want to hit the Marabas Network broadcast station. And you want to... How can you be sure your signal's going to get out there?
I've been reassured by someone that had complete access to the building that we will be able to use their codes to get through.
I can help with any sort of hacking that might need to be done.
If it turns out I've been misled or the codes have indeed been changed since Donna's imprisonment, I'm sure we'll think of something, whether through mechanical means or by brute force.
I
And-
forgot you spoke to the lady on TV.
Well, she wasn't on TV at the time.
Well, I think I can help someone through doors if there's someone we need to talk to. I don't know which way you'd rather me go, but maybe I can ask someone to leave the door open or to take their break now.
Open door is a mighty fine first step. We can go in guns blazing or we can go in incognito.
Incognito would be better, I think. And so, Berengaria and Bahari too, you would be instrumental to this type of thing.
If this is really happening, if you all are not just bullshitting me right now, there's something I've been holding on to for a long time. And I think you might need it.
She has this solemn aspect now.
I'll be right back. Don't hold up for me I'll be back.
And she swims again past the sort of like the single chain into that what appeared to be just an out of order restroom. But you could see as she slips through the sort of dim light in there that she's done some heavy repurposing of this shipwreck. Looks like a big storage room back there.
Well, she's talking about our drinks.
Oh, yeah. Bone dry for a while.
Oh,
She
well, if I'm going to be staying here, I should learn how to tend bar.
Oh.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm not going to just take their kindness for granted. I pull up my sleeves. I lift up my dress and I fold it into an apron. I get behind the bar. And I'd like to sling some lily for everyone.
Every time you
alright.
move your broken arm, Calliope's like,
Yeah, it's like, ow.
And suddenly behind Calliope, Bugs us like,
both of
Do you know
just
how to load
wincing.
the pod machine for the lily? I can show you. I've done it a few times.
Yes, please.
All right. So I swim over there.
damn it.
And as Rhoda comes back out with a small box, like a small sort of like what looks like a strong box or like an old like heavy lacquered iron sort of case. She sees as she comes back out here, Berengaria and Bahari. Like Bahari, you're doing your level best here, but Berengaria
I'm
doesn't
making
seem
a
to-
mess.
She doesn't seem to quite get the exact timing on like affixing the seal, but not overdoing it and not bursting the like. So there's like these a bunch of like burst lily pods and like these clouds of just like heavily concentrated like sea liquor.
I
just kind
pull down the breather and just drink a cloud of it. It's like way salty. Like
My tail's like
Right.
trying to keep Frisbee out of it.
Oh no.
like you got your hand on his like snub nose.
Okay, next time I'll ask one of you to go and get the thing from the back room because this was not.
I'm sorry, it's my fault. I wanted to be proactive and I should have had some training.
This is why we agreed your backup.
And she slams this heavy strong box onto the bar, and just because this kind of like undoes this dial lock, this padlock, and it's kind of crusted shut, and she opens it, and inside it's pretty retro, but some mint condition otherwise. Illicitly obtained smuggled comtech.
do we get to do the thing with our ears?
She starts passing out these, the inner ear sort of pieces for short range communication.
I used to listen. I've been around the block a couple of times, all right, and I was a little antsy when you were talking about doing anything illegal, because I've seen people with the best intentions and really good planning and a lot of talent and a lot of heart. I've seen them go down in flames, which is very difficult to do at the bottom of the ocean, but they did. I've watched it go wrong before. You're not the first to try something like this, and I'm damn well too old for it. But I can pass on what worked for us. It's analog, but it wasn't cheap, okay? With these, you can keep in communication subtly, and it won't be detectable on standard Valthuran channels. This is outdated tech. They won't be looking on these frequencies.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rhoda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do you use it? I stick it up my nose. This is...
Okay, all right.
Also,
Oh,
table
yeah.
in the fact that you said the back room and not the bathroom. Is that not a privy back there?
Please, it says keep out. It says you didn't go in there, did you? And you didn't go in there, did you?
Ew.
No, Rhoda.
I don't want to. Okay, you're grounded.
25 goddamn years old.
But you're under my roof, so you go by my rules.
Thank you, Rhoda. I'm gonna take mine and go to the back room. Not back room. I will go to a private room.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, you can go basically to back of house where the kitchens would be.
And, and I will put it on and start turning it on.
Gotcha.
You can feel free to test it out, everybody, but
Com check.
Hello. 1, 2, 3.
no, honey, come on.
And she's gonna help you. She's gonna take it from your hands.
Oh,
And hold on.
And she just goes over to like the little decontamination sink and just kind of like just
Oh.
like a puts a little spray on it and gives it back. It goes like, and she really gently just affixes it to your ear with your.
oh, that is
permission.
so much more comfortable. Thank you.
That is exact. That's one. Yes, it is.
Do you care about the case at all? The casing?
These- Oh, I mean, these are yours now. I'm not
Okay.
going to be dealing with these anymore.
If he puts it in their hand and little pinchers come out of their fingers and start incorporating them into their tech.
You're
I don't
just,
have-
oh my gosh, you're like assimilating the tech
Yeah.
into your body.
So
That's so
Oh.
cool.
So
I don't
good.
have ears, so
That's fair.
I, like a lizard, have 2 little holes at the sides
Little-
of my
yeah.
neck. So I just
Pop it right in.
like a wine cork.
All right, so let's get down to brass tacks.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh.
I really wanted to hear Rasubi's com check.
Oh no,
Do
it's
it,
just gonna
please.
be. This is Risubi from the kitchen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Is your last
Yes.
name from the kitchen?
Sure. And I will come back out. Comms seem to be operational.
Mm-hmm. If they give you any trouble, you just bring them back here. I've learned the hard way how to fix old broken things.
Between myself and Calliope, I think we can manage.
Mhm.
So, obviously you could do with these whatever you will. But if you're going to want to try and hit MNBS, the headquarters of all the news that's fit to print and put on the airwaves and put on the screen.
They got to get a new catchphrase.
This is why you're not letting me name the society. It's fine.
Oh, we need to pick a name. Like a band name.
Code names for comm checks would be good just to be safe.
And the get the heck out of there phrase as well, just in case we need to abort a mission.
I'm just saying you're going to want to case the joint.
Case the joint, yeah, and then figure out if we're all going in as a unit and just comfortable with being seen, or perhaps if some can go in the casual way with Berengaria and Bahari, convince someone to leave a door cracked. Maybe those of us what shouldn't be seen, namely probably me and Rasubi, could try and get in through roof access or another way.
I'm very good at making distractions.
I'm a little worried about your ability to be a distraction now that you may be considered a person of interest because you left the officer in a bit of a pickle there.
I can put my hair up.
That'll fool them. Pair of glasses and we've got you made.
Oh, I can give myself a makeover.
Yes, makeover.
That is what I will do.
I'm glad to see we all have our priorities straight.
If the idea is that some folk distract and others go in and upload the signal, and then we all leave our separate ways, does that sound like the safest plan? Once we make sure we've made note of all access points?
It's going to be pre-recorded message too.
Yes.
Makes the most sense, yeah.
Easier than all of us being in a little room hovering around a microphone.
All right. I don't
Now
know
that
what
we're
the
not
layout
going
of
to do
this
that,
place-
we are going to do that in this bar in a minute if we are pre-recording it, but I mean in the building.
I don't think we should do it here. We don't want the detective to look at the pre-recording and trace it back here to Rhoda.
Oh, I was considering audio only.
Yeah, audio.
Did you?
Oh,
I don't
that
know if
makes
we-
a lot more sense.
as brave as it would be to put our faces out, and I think someday the time will come. But
Right.
just in the interest of keeping y'all able to move freely, maybe we just do our
I was
voices.
gonna hope that we were gonna do recording and then change the voices so it doesn't sound exactly like us, in case
Right.
you've heard our voices before.
Mhm.
And you would then upload the file and change it so that when it's on the signal, whatever file they have is a copy of a copy. It has no actual data from where it was recorded, no location, no tag.
Wait, merciful starfish, am I glad you are here.
Yeah. These are things they could definitely use to figure out where a recording came from, but if you wipe it of the data and then re-record it and change a copy before you put it on their stream, you should be fine.
Bahari, you're so creative.
I try.
Calliope or Rasubi, anyone really tech savvy, do you have means for us to make a recording here? I don't really have anything but the clothes on my back and this gun. I have a few broken transmitters at my shop, I suppose.
I am a recording device.
I don't want to put you in that room. Not by yourself.
Give me one day. I can find a device.
But for today, at least, we can record the messages into Calliope and maybe transfer them. Then that would be the recording of the coordinates, as you said, Bahari.
Good idea.
So, do you
Okay.
already know what you want to say?
What do you say to an empire?
Are we
Or the-
talking to the Empire? Or are
No.
we talking to everybody else?
You can talk to whoever's applicable, but I think a little bit we do have to tell the people they ain't alone. Could take some time with it if you all need, but I'm just happy I'm not doing this by myself.
Let's take some
Reached
time with
out.
it.
Yeah, let's take some time.
It's a bit of a
And-
creative assignment.
Berengaria, I will go break the seals on my room and fill it with enough water for you to. My room is dry. Hold on. I'm gonna flood the basement.
Okay. And yes, for the record, there is a basement that has a still functioning airlock that has basically been where Bunk goes whenever their oxygen tank runs out for them to refuel and just kind of exist in a ventilated space. But you can half flood it enough for a merfolk to be comfortable in the space.
I'll even just say to Rhoda, like, there's too much heat on me and you're already worried. Berengaria can stay here and I can go find a new place to crash.
We can share, Bonk. I don't snore.
I keep it a little arid in that room on purpose.
That's okay. I'm very wet.
Do you require a dry place to stay?
You know one?
Yes.
Are you being cool again?
No. I know a place.
And with that, as all of you have committed to pulling a heist on the Marabas Network Broadcast Station headquarters, finding a new level of trust, we're going to pull away now from this this little love-in, and we're going to, before we close for the night, we're going to rejoin the good detective, Damien Belisar, as he is also making his he's making his return to the to his office up in the Ostara complex, and he as he removes his rebreather helmet now that he's back in the dry mall, basically, he's fiddling with his now broken sort of caffeine dispenser. He's on some kind of like remote call on his earpiece, like potentially with some kind of superior up at the sort of colonial affairs station, and he seems to be kind of trying to, he's being spoken over. And as he kind of moves through the crowd here, making his way up towards the sort of grand elevator that takes sort of officials back up to Ostara, passing by all these, disinterested bureaucrats and other officers. No, you don't understand. No, yes, it was an ordinance was deployed. I can't explain it. It was, I don't know. It was some kind of, it looked like one of ours. It was some kind of grenade or something. Anyway, I couldn't see. When I tell you that I couldn't see for full on 10 minutes. No, she's in the wind. Okay, she's gone. No, you don't understand. This proves my hypothesis. No. Okay, I'm not just saying a lizard did it. I know which lizard did it. Okay? And I know that this schoolmaster is in league. Or at the very least, they were sympathetic. Just, you've got to give me a little bit more leeway on it. Sure, I'll be back. I'll submit my report tonight. Fine. And dejected, he ends the call. And he looks back down at his hand, tries flexing it into a fist, winces through the pain. And he takes the earpiece off, hits the power button, pockets it, and turns right back around and puts his scuba suit back on. To hell with this.
He's a loose cannon.
Now, before we call this session to a close for the night, is this, I genuinely want to kind of pull the room here, pull the table. Do you want to do that recording? Do you want to ready your message that you're going to broadcast Or is this something that you think maybe needs a little bit more coordination, maybe a little more preparation? It's up to you.
I personally think that to make something really punchy, I think we would need time as a cast to like talk it through. Because I don't know about y'all, but I definitely envision like I do a one-liner, then Bahari does another sentence, and then Calliope does a sentence, and then Rasubi, and then Bunk drops like the sickest like ending mic drop.
Agree.
Well, in that case, if we're all kind of in agreement on that, if everyone's okay with us maybe kind of calling a bit of an earlier close, then we can open next week with what will, I'm sure, be an entirely successful and uncomplicatedly successful heist on a broadcast network.
Potentially 2 heists if we can get the jail going too.
Ooh.
We're about to put several irons in the fire and see what happens. But until then, we've got 1 loose cannon cop on the edge and 5 would-be revolutionaries and their crotchety mom. And we are going to...
Thank you for giving the revolution a mom. That's appreciated.
Yes.
And a dog.
And a dog.
And all the plot armor for these NPCs.
Yes.
Oh, Frisbee is immortal. Nothing. Everyone be aware, nothing bad will ever happen to Frisbee.
Yes.
Yeah. So like mechanically, Frisbee does have hit points, but we've decided that if anything ever happens to Frisbee, Frisbee just runs away, and then the like summon another beast creature mechanic is just Frisbee finding his way back to me.
Awesome. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam, for another wonderful episode. Oh, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, if there's anything, I don't want to cut this off. If anyone has anything else they wanted to kind of facilitate, any other moments anyone wants to work through, since we have the time. Otherwise, yeah, we can pick it up next week. Just wanted to know.
Did Rasubi and Bunk want to do a little scene?
I am dying to know what this dry place is.
Sure.
Oh, you want to tease this real quick?
Yeah.
All right. So sometime later.
After Berengar basically said, we can share, Bunk would explain to you, like, there's too much heat on you. I just basically turned that up to 11. You take this place and Rasubi will take me somewhere else. And then,
right.
I will see what this is all about.
So I'm going to pass this off to you, Kappa.
Yeah.
Where does Rasubi take Bunk?
Okay. So moving through the city, it's very if it's night, right? It's late, right?
Oh yeah. No, at this point it would have been nigh on midnight by the time you all gathered at the Lonely Light. Several hours later now.
Okay. So it's less sneaking and more we're doing this with haste, and you are led to almost like a loading dock area to the dry mall. And like the entire trip, Rasubi is wordless. And then once we come to this loading dock area, there's a panel that Rasubi walks up to, looks back at you, Bunk. This is the entrance. The exit is elsewhere. Do not exit through the entrance. And Rasubi will pry open this panel, and it slides out very neatly, and will lead you through this tunnel, barely lit. Really, the only thing that that is lighting this area are like panels, like light panels that have readings on them to measure pressure, temperature to pipes, and barrels of whatever is getting pumped through here at the dry mall. We're assuming air. Behind you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just because no one said anything until that point where you're like, this is the door, this wall. After like a few feet of silence, Bunk will just ask, if I ask how you found this place, is there a shot in hell you're going to tell me?
You can keep asking, but the answer will come when the time is right.
Fair enough.
And so as we progress through, it's still watery. You know, we're still flowing through water. And then we'll pass up in we'll take a direct vertical swim upwards, and there is a dim light coming from the surface, and we will come up into a very minimalist, stark room with a puddle where it opens up into a hole into the shaft that we're swimming up. There is worn furniture that looks like it was pulled from the dry mall. There is a table. There are cabinets, very old. You can see that they're open. They're full of crunchy stuff, like nuts. They're full of various I want to say like peanut packs that you would get on an airport that they would be giving out at the dry mall.
Yep.
And then another door that is closed. Risubi will turn to you. You may stay here. Do not go through that door. And I will go through the door that I tell you not to go through. Please do not tell anyone about this. And I will close the door. And you hear it lock from the other side.
Bunk.
I will remove my breather mask. I will remove the breathing tubes, change into some dry clothes that can be found. And I will begin to try and figure out every single thing in these cabinets.
Yep. And with a tantalizing mystery unfolding about the secret activities of the enigma that is Risubi, we will fade out and we will rejoin you all next week.
Oh,
Yay!
Hooray!
Thank you so much. Oh my god.
I'm so happy we did that.
Oh, that was so good.
So good.
Oh my gosh. All
That
right,
was definitely
y'all.
how we should end this. That was perfect.
Yes.
The theme song coming over it.
I know.
Kills me.
That was Adam. All right,
Incredible.
everyone. So we're going to go back around. We're going to reintroduce ourselves, and then we're going to tell you what our favorite part of the episode was, and we'll go the other way, and we'll start with Adam.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam. I am one half of TricksyWizard. The other half is my partner Trout. We make comics, we make Dungeons and Dragons and other TTRPG art, and we are also involved in an upcoming Kickstarter for a project made in conjunction with Mage Hand Press, a card game called Witchy Cakes, where you play as competing covens of adorable witch bakers, all competing to outcompete each other to win a contract to basically create a cake for an unsuspecting wedding reception. So it's ridiculous and fun and very colorful. And that's coming early next year. My favorite part of this entire session, I think, well, besides finally getting to just indulge in playing a tiny little shark baby, just munching away at a bunch of crunchy snacks. I adored the rooftop conversation between Calliope and Bunk. there is a deep well of history between them and a philosophical divide that seems unbridgeable, and yet at the same time I want so badly for it to be bridged. The two of you are a marvel.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'll hop over to Trout.
Hi, I'm Trout. My partner Adam already said most of the stuff about TricksyWizard, but yeah, at TricksyWizard on all the social media. Do we have anything else to announce? Not really. Every other Sunday, I am on another stream on Emma Panada's channel. For if you like Ravenloft, I play a Muppet Paladin in it. It's very goofy. Favorite part of the session is impossible to choose, but I mean it's probably Rasubi's "You Need a Dry Place," and then the mystery began. And somebody else feel free to say it, but Stella just Berengari going, actually the flashbang seems like the optimal course. Was the best.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
God, definitely the using the flashbang just to escape the awkward conversation and not save it for when we're going to do a prison break. Definitely a decision was made there. All right, thank you very much. We'll hop over to Kappa.
Okay. Hello, my name is Christian, better known as Kappa in most online spaces. Particularly, you can find me on Twitter and Hive at the Kappa Chris. I'm in a bunch of stuff. To Be Movie or Not to Be Movie podcast. That is the podcast that I do with Brandy Rose, where we watch B movies and react to them, play bingo around them, and also pick them apart through the lens of marginalized identities, because there's not enough of us in the movie podcast sphere. And speaking of other podcasts, Kill Every Monster's most recent episode featured me, and I go over the Kappa, my namesake. It was so much fun to do. Other than that, I'm on, other podcasts. I'm on Roads Uncharted, on Simplecast, the first actual play podcast in the Genesis system. I also do a lot of really cool stuff with Friends Who Roll Dice. We are currently trying to fill out what our winter quarter next year is going to be like. So look out for some announcements regarding that. And after, what else am I doing? Oh, and then Tuesdays here, Brine Blight. I'm like trying to go through everything that I'm up to. But yeah, if that's too much for you to keep in your head, just remember Twitter and Hive at the Kappa Chris. I try and make all announcements for when things are going live or projects that are being announced.
Excellent.
Oh, my favorite part. Everyone took stuff. I like that we are all together now and starting to come up with stuff. But I think the group dynamic of when Rhoda stepped out and Berengaria goes to do some bartending, it was a nice light moment for us to showcase some of the character dynamics that we are still forging in the narrative. So that's always fun. But everything else that people have said, I want to echo. Those were also my favorite parts.
Awesome. Thank you. Next we have Z.
Hey, I'm Z, aka Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. I have other social media too, but I forgot to give Stella the links. So next time, just catch me on Brine Blight next time and you'll get those. What do I do? This and to be announced TTRPG stuff, maybe, who knows? So just follow me and watch me slug dance on Twitter and
slug dance. Exquisite.
Yeah. It's
legendary
good, right?
Stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. My favorite part. Everyone took something. You're so right, Christian. I adored watching everybody. I'm gonna give a little star to Adam. Adam, your voice work, your character work today it just drew me right in. And not just the narration, which I always love, but I love when you get into a character. It's so fun to watch.
Rhoda feels real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rhoda. Yeah.
I do love Rhoda. I'm really happy y'all like her too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Jay.
I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice on most of the things. There's too many links now. Oh my god, I'm tired of making social media pages. I'm tired of it. I work in game dev and comics, literature. I do consulting and writing and arting and all that fun stuff. Check me out working on games on the Twitch, as well as playing some fun games. Also here, this has been like one of my favorite RPG things ever. Like I love working with you guys. You're so fun. There's too many good things in this stream. Like, everyone was fantastic. Everyone's doing such a good job with their characters, and like just getting to watch y'all have scenes. I'm just sitting here like, oh wait, I have to talk. Oh no, like, because you're so good. And like every single time Bunk is either talking to or about Berengaria, it's just like you can just feel the tangible connection between them. It's so sweet. I love watching it. I love it. So yeah, it's y'all. Y'all are adorable.
Thank you. I'm still Luna. If you've enjoyed this content, please give us a follow. That's a free way that you can help support us and get notifications for when we go live. Brine and Blight will be back here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. My favorite part, I absolutely loved the scene with Bahari and Rasubi. Kind of opening up with that. I think that really set the tone for the rest of the episode. Just kind of adding that gravity, adding that personal concern, and just like really cementing that we're in the thick of it, that we are affected by this. We are people in the mass that is, you know, suffering with the Valthuran influence. And I just, chef's kiss. And I also really like that. So just for transparency for the chat here, we do decompression after the show, and we do a round of wishes to talk about like what stuff do we want to be incorporated for, you know, self-satisfaction of a story that we tell together. And one thing that I brought up was I want to split the party, and we have all kind of voiced that we wanted these little moments, and we all had like these little moments, and it was really awesome. So thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. You all made those moments sing.
All right, everyone. We're going to go ahead and go for raid now. We're going to raid Creators Assemble. They are running a charity fundraiser. So please join me in hopping into this raid. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your night. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.